Hi, this is Era, and welcome to the Minecraft mod called Plenty of Golems. This mod is really cool and really cute at the same time, in different aspects. Today I'm going to be showing you the golems, how to make them, and a few special quirks about them. Starting off, we have the TNT golems. The crafting recipes go as follows. For the TNT air golem, you need 6 feathers, a carved pumpkin, TNT, and stone, in this order. For the TNT ground golem statue, you need a carved pumpkin, TNT, and stone. And for the TNT yeeter golem, you need a carved pumpkin, TNT, and a grindstone. The TNT air golem looks like this. And once you spawn an enemy down for them, they will launch their TNT. Next up is the TNT ground golem, which looks like this. They resemble sort of a villager, and they will do similar things to the air golem, where they will throw their TNT at mobs. Like that. And finally, we have the TNT yeeter. They look like this. And they will still launch TNT at enemies. These guys are quite powerful. Then we head over. The first buildable golem is the jungle plank golem. When placed with the pumpkin, they turn into this little guy. This guy is almost a gun and can shoot actual projectiles. And the fun part about him is that you can pick him up and shoot. Just throw him down to get him back moving around. Next up is the powder snow golem. This guy resembles a snowman, and he attacks by swinging at them with his big stick arm, though he is kinda weak to fire. Next up is the dirt golem. They have to be found. They are the only small golem that has to be found. He looks like this. He doesn't really do much, but he doesn't fight or do anything of that sort. He just stands around. In specific chances, they will switch their flower. And then when they walk around, their flower should spawn. Next up is the bookshelf golem. Now on his own, the bookshelf golem does an attack where he shoots out books. You will need to reload him with a book though, so that he can fight again. Next up is the enchanting golem. This guy can apply positive effects to nearby passive mobs. Enchanted, health boost, regeneration, or thorns. But the special thing is when these two guys are placed together, they can do something quite cool. Come on. When faced with mobs, they will combine with each other. And form the bookshelf tower, which can affect negative potion effects to any mobs. Their design looks pretty cool. Next up is the composter golem. They look like this, and they will fight like normal. Whenever they miss a shot, as you can see, the ground will be bone meal, as what they're throwing is bone meal. Next up is the piston golem. This little guy has long arms, and the fun part about him is that when he hits a mob, he hits it far. He has extreme knockback. Next up is the candle golem. He's very cute and resembles an actual candle in Minecraft. He can light other mobs on fire, although from further away. Next up, my personal favorite, the barrel golem. This little guy you can actually store stuff in. I'm gonna put some of the old stuff in there. And when faced with a mob, he will roll at them and attack. Next up is what you think would be a normal snow golem. But we have carved pumpkins, but we don't have carved melons. Using shears on a melon will give you a carved melon to make a melon golem. This guy will fight like a normal snow golem would, except he's a bit stronger and throws melon seeds instead of snowballs. Next up is the wool golem. He might look terrifying on the outside and does have a razor sharp attack, but the fun part comes with dyes. When you use a dye on him, he will change into a cute outfit. A bumblebee, a guardian, a ravager, and foxes are just a few of the different ones. Every single dye has a unique one, except for white. Next up is the stat golem. This guy is made of all these little ones. He will attack like a normal one would, by breaking apart and attacking. You can actually stand on these guys, and you can pick up the pieces to stack them up and rebuild into another guy. Next up is the endstone golem, which looks like this guy. He will fight mobs like anyone would by running into him. But the quirk about this guy is that you can actually ride him. Ride him around and run at enemies to kill them. He's quite fast and a good way to transport. Next up is the honey golem. They have two different attacks. They can shoot out honey, and they can send out bees to attack. They will only do this on specific occasions, though, so it's cool to see it. They apply slowness to the targets. Next up is the stonecutter golem. His razor-sharp blades apply the new effect, bleeding, which is basically poison, except you don't have poison hearts, and you can still eat food and stuff. Next up is the hay golem. The hay golem's only purpose is to make all hostile mobs attack him until he dies. He doesn't attack, he doesn't defend, or have any cool properties. He's just a target dummy, and he will bar in all the mobs until he's dead. Next up is the smithing golem, or the smithing table golem. You might think he looks a little, not special, just like Deep Slay. But the fun comes when you add in blocks. If you go to the back and add in any specific block, from any block of iron, gold, or diamond, he will turn into a different. Each of them have a different strength level. Iron ones attack quite well, but are the weakest of all of them. You will need a pickaxe to remove the block. No matter what it is, just use a pickaxe and he'll turn back into a statue. The gold one is much of the same, just a bit stronger. And finally, the diamond one. He is the strongest out of all of them and gives extra XP when mobs are killed. Next up is the blast furnace golem. This guy is very cool, and he's basically just a better candle golem. He will set things on fire in a bigger radius, and so not just one mob at a time. Next up is the bamboo golem. This guy is quite creepy. They make a singing sound effect and will shoot blow darts at any enemies. They're one of the creepiest ones, and they're by far my least favorite. The last of the buildable golems is the nether golem. They can charge up their fists and launch an attack, like that. Next up are all the golems that have to be found. These guys can be found in different places in the world, probably the places you'd expect. First up is the dark oak golem. You click them and they wake up. Not a dark oak log is the achievement you get when you wake this guy up. he will attack with his big hands. And he does a cool animation where he falls down whenever he's attacking. But he doesn't seem to want to attack right now, so I don't know. Next up is the dispenser golem. This guy requires runes to activate him. Either the firework rune or the fire rune. Place them into his back, and he wakes up. Depending on what rune you place into his back, he will have different powers. When you place the fire rune in, every dark bit of him will glow, and he will attack with fireballs. You remove it with a pickaxe. Then you can put the other one in. He has firework belts and other things to signify. And he will launch out fireworks as an attack. Next up is the obsidian golem. Or the portal golem, as some call him. He is big, and his eye is this little purple section. His attack is quite strong. You can hit from behind him. Mobs will actually run away from him instead of going near to attack. Next up is the first of the village. They will do a big all-out attack where they ring their bell and it damages all mobs around, like that. Next up is the first of the dungeon. This dude can be found in dungeons, pretty obvious, and attacks most hostile mobs. He sends out these little guys, called andesite golems, to attack. Next up is the first of basalt. He is similar to the blast furnace golem. Come in this way. With that, the achievement you get is that an enemy or an ally. This guy you can actually ride, but when you're in survival mode, the stuff on his head will damage you. He shoots out these little flames that attack all mobs. Next up is the amethyst golem. His arm is used as a shooting claw. His design is pretty cool. Next up is the first of sandstone. He also does attacks like most others would. He's a pretty normal guy and just cool for his design. Although he does do this thing where he shoots out tornadoes sometimes. And the final of the nice golems is the spruce giant. This guy looks like a massive slingshot and will shoot out oak logs at his targets. Now for the last two, the hostile ones. This one, the dark giant. He will attack. He is similar to a warden. All other golems will attack him, but he does a pretty powerful attack when you're in survival mode. He will send out these big blasts that will damage everyone in the radius. And the final one is the Ancient of Prismarine. He is also from Minecraft Dungeons. Wake him up, and he has multiple different attacks. He has a massive boss bar, as he is the final boss in this mod. A ranged attack with his anchor can do a lot of damage. He can also do a slam attack down with his legs. And he can do a water shooting attack. That's all for this mod. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.